Well, let's shine a spotlight on some of the big stories happening this week. On the political front, South Africa's political week is going to pick up its pace, this as the ANC hosts its NGC. And we saw yesterday the DA held its provincial elective conference, all ahead of local government elections. The Africa Maibuya movement also having their national convention conclude today. Now, these gatherings shape policy, they shape leadership, they shape direction as well heading into 2026 and beyond for these parties. And so we're going to be unpacking this further. Political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou joins us virtually. A very good morning to you, Dr. Ndou, and thank you for your time at this hour.
Good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me.
Well, it promises to be nothing short of a busy week when we're looking at the NGC, obviously also just with the DA's provincial elective congress. We saw Isaac Fritz being elected unopposed. Africa Maibuya movement also solidifying their policies with their convention. So talk to us about the broader picture. How significant is this week for South Africa's political landscape, the key signals that both parties are going to be, all three parties are going to be sending to voters at large as well?
It's a very significant week in the sense that political parties and indeed political activities in the country are taking place and indeed that are shaping the direction of South Africa. If you look at the Democratic Alliance, the DA has had its provincial conference in the Northern Cape. And as expected, this is the party that is very ambitious of ensuring that they're making roads in the greater part of the Republic of South Africa. And it appears as if with the DA, they're actually following their program throughout the Republic. And they are ensuring that their presence is felt everywhere. But what has been very interesting for me, specifically with the DA, is that they have got their own way of running their conferences very, very smoothly, especially when it comes to leadership contestation. They are able to persuade each other before the actual conference, and that is why you have got a situation where Isaac is elected unopposed, and that, for me, talks to cohesion of the members, talks to cohesion in leadership, and that makes it easy for that person to be supported generally by the party.
Okay, thank you for that. I actually want to break down a few of what you've themes that you've just echoed now. Let's start with the ANC, because the NGC is coming up and policy renewal, that is going to be taking center stage. And so when we're looking at the major policy debates that will be dominating this week for them, talk to us about how important this is going to be for the party's renewal agenda as well. That forms part of the theme.
With the ANC, they are hosting their National General Council. And the purpose of this event is to assess the performance of the party from when the leadership was elected up until now. And now, in 2025 December, this is the midterm of the party. And we can also refer to it as the midterm review on the performance of the party. But then also, when they focus on the performance of the party, as the ANC, they will also have to focus on the performance of the party in government. But what is going to be very central will be to look at the issues of governance and also to look at the issues that will relate to renewal. Focus on the issues where they don't seem to be doing well and issues where they seem to be doing fine, and assess how they can do better. That will therefore trigger the next step. The next step being that they must therefore be able to develop policies for the future in order for them to be able to amend areas that are problematic. So this is a very, very interesting a gathering of the ANC. And here, all leaders of the ANC, from national to regions, they should be able to look themselves on the mirror and identify areas where they're supposed to do much better. And they're doing that when they know that they did not do well in the previous general elections.
Because Dr. Ndou, it's about the ANC demonstrating the ability to build trust again. But in lieu of what's transpired, I mean, within those debates, how likely are we also going to see tensions between the factions surfacing? Yes, you're saying it is this critical midterm platform between national conferences. It's happening for the ANC, following the resolutions, following the 55th National Conference. So talk to us about how those dynamics are also going to be playing out this week.
My view is that the ANC should focus on the important aspects that have a potential to build the ANC further. Anyone who would focus more on factionalism and positioning him or herself to a party leadership in the near future, that person would not be taking the ANC forward. This is the moment for the ANC to look at itself, to look at its performance, to look at its weaknesses and make amendments on such. And some of the issues that, as I've indicated earlier, should look at issues of ethics and moral leadership within the ANC. The ANC has been punished by the voters merely on issues of ethics, and they know that those are the issues that they must be able to deal with. The ANC has to focus on issues that relates to quality service delivery. They know that people are worried about such things. The ANC has to find ways and means to be able to manage such section in a manner that it does not divide the party. And one, in my view, of the most important issues that the ANC has to look at now could be issues that relates to the alliance itself, because when the alliance is crumbling, the ANC is hurt, and that also affects its performance and its dominance amongst the masses of this country.
Well, we're obviously monitoring the internal dynamics of the ANC, leading up to some of the, succession planning in the party as well. But just to your earlier point about the DA itself, the internal dynamics, the provincial elective conference that also happened, leadership, direction coming to the fore. Yes, the leader was elected unopposed in the Northern Cape, but I wonder if you can speak to how rife the competition was for them. Ultimately, what does the leadership contest, the resolutions, also tell us about the DA's direction at this point? Also, how are these dynamics then going to be impacting the outcomes of the coalition dynamics in the province?
John Steenhuisen, whilst was opening or addressing the provincial conference, spoke a lot about the expectation of the ordinary people on the ground. And what he tried to do was to position the Democratic Alliance as a party that is ready to take over the Northern Cape. We also do know that there are issues between John Steenhuisen and Dion in the Democratic Alliance, which has a potential to create factions within the party. And those are some of the issues that Steenhuisen had to touch on whilst addressing at the conference yesterday. There are things that are difficult to move away from if you have the Democratic Party, because suddenly the Democratic Party has made very good inroads in the South African body politic. They are now in the government of national unity, and that creates a situation in which those that are in higher positions of the DA would know that there is a possibility for them to occupy high positions in government. That becomes the source of factionalism within the party, because everybody else would love to get a position in the DA, which has a potential to guarantee that person to be in government.
Yeah.
Those are the issues that the Democratic Alliance should start dealing with and find ways and means to manage. But what I see as a huge factor in the Democratic Alliance, and specifically on the conference that just took place, is the ability of the Democratic Party to be able to find consensus and avoid a situation where there are unnecessary contestation. Because some of the challenges that are found in other parties is that when people contest each other, they are unable to manage relations beyond a conference.
Well, Dr. Levi, it's going to be interesting to see which party gains more or loses more from this week's outcomes. And at large, what South Africans should also be watching out for when it comes to these resolutions, and also as we age closer to local government elections as well. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC at this hour and for weighing in. Of course, just giving us a preview of what we can expect for the week to come with the ANC NGC taking place between the 8th and the 11th of December 2025. It's the 5th National General Council for the ANC to be convened. And then, of course, the DA just having wrapped up its provincial elective conference where Isak Fritz was elected unopposed. Again, thank you to Dr. Levy Ndou for his political analysis.